Welcome to The Breakdown. I'm your host, Official Burn, and this is the show where we break everything down. And today is another sad day in the history of America because we have a black man that has been gunned down, paralyzed by getting shot 7 times in the back in Kenosha, Wisconsin, a Mr. Jacob Blake. Now, I try to stay away from my opinions on my show, but this time I just have to add a little bit to it because there's only video footage right now and we don't know the full scope of the story. But there's 2 angles. One angle we saw when the incident first happened. Let's take a look at it. Now, as you can see from that angle, it starts off from a man walking away from the police, going to his vehicle, while it seems to be his girlfriend or maybe a sister or someone in his family is screaming outside for things to stop. And he reaches in his vehicle, and at that moment, the police pull on his shirt and fire 7 times, injuring the man for the rest of his life. Now, automatically there's outrage. Automatically there's going to be protests. Automatically there's going to be people just going crazy in the streets. Why? Because we just recently went through this a couple of times in the last couple of months. We already know what happened with George Floyd, which sparked national outrage. National outrage. The nation. Okay, if you want to say the world, it sparked outrage in the world. People from all over were protesting about the brutality, mainly about police brutality. But, you know, this opened up a whole conversation about systematic oppression. And before we get into that, let's just look at the second angle.
Get my son. Get my son. Get TJ. TJ. You are bogus. This bitch is bogus.
And you've just watched the second angle. Now, that might have changed your point of view a little bit because you see a man wrestling on the floor with the police. We don't know what led up to that. We don't know what happened to lead up to that at this moment. And unfortunately, the police in that area do not have a budget for body cam. So we are not going to see body cam footage from this specific incident. And we thought that after George Floyd, there will be body cams all over the nation. But unfortunately, it's not happening. Now, some people might voice their opinion about the situation and say, oh, if that was me, that wouldn't have happened because I would have been able to talk to the police and they would have been like, okay, we can hear your reasoning. I can hear that point, and I hear that point of view, and I hear your argument. But you don't know exactly what's going to happen in that situation. It's like people who say, if I was a slave, I would have ran away. How do you know? If you were in slavery, it would probably be totally different. If you were born around that time, it would be different. You don't know what's going to happen. So for us to provide that type of opinion is totally wrong. We shouldn't do that. But it's only natural because we're human, so that's what we do. In this situation, you have to pay attention to the actions of the victim. You have to pay attention to the actions of the police. You have to pay attention to every camera angle that you see. And at this point, we already know the argument is going to be, I was in fear for my safety, and that's the reason why I fired my weapon. I was in fear for my life, and that's the reason why I fired my weapon. Even if the police were aware that this specific gentleman had past convictions or history of violence or even warrants, that's what's going to make it worse. Because if they've gotten a call for domestic violence and ran his name and found out that he had warrants, guess what? That sparks a fear in an officer. No matter what they say, yes, they receive de-escalation training, but they also are in fear for their safety every day that they walk out the house. That's only a natural feeling. You should not be in fear for your safety if you're an officer. You should be in fear for everyone's safety. You should be in fear for everyone else's safety, because you are here to protect and serve your community, which means that you're here for us, not you. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, it's only natural as a human being to feel like you're protecting yourself and your family. Yes, we get that. But this is not the job that you chose. You chose to protect us. If I chose a job in McDonald's, but I really love to eat McDonald's, I'm not gonna eat McDonald's every day, all day. I'm not gonna eat your meal, okay? I'm actually gonna serve you your meal first, because you deserve that meal more than I do at this moment, because you're coming into my place of business and this is where you want to eat. You are the customer. I am the employee. I am here to serve you, okay? Do you understand my point of view? I hope you get that. This is The Breakdown, and I'm your host, Official Burn.
All eyes on me, all eyes on me, all eyes on me, all eyes on me, yeah. All eyes on me, all eyes on me, all eyes on me, all eyes on me, yeah. I ain't gon' fuck up the back.